Welcome back to Absolutely Marvel and DC. My name is Benny, that is Dylan, and that is Dan. And we're a channel that sits around and talks in a podcast-style format about our favorite superhero TV shows and movies, from rumors, discussions, reviews, all the way down to the video games. We talk about it all right here on a daily basis. So make sure you join Team Absolute by hitting subscribe, hitting like, and joining us by hitting notifications. Today, we're going to be talking about Flash, Season 8, Episode 2. Oh my God, this episode is amazing. This episode was amazing.
Great. I can now proudly wear this again instead of being like, every time I put it on, being like, man, this show sucks.
I hope no one recognizes it, but I still like the shirt.
No, this episode is amazing. Quick rundown. This episode was Barry trying to prove he's not going to cause the apocalypse, but constantly having slips thanks to the seemingly villain of the episode. And Despero, I keep wanting to call him Desperado, but that's not him.
Desperado.
Is constantly like egging him on. I was just like, you're supposed to be helping. Why are you egging him on the whole episode? This is when you're going evil. This is when you're going evil.
This guy just doesn't want to be wrong.
No.
It's like the next day he goes, oh, I'm what pushes him over the edge. Like, oh man.
He just keeps poking Barry. Oh, now only you can see me poking you.
Poking the bear.
But no, this episode is great. I loved it. Because it started out feeling like a normal Flash episode. We got our villain of the week, and he's trying to solve the mystery. He runs off, fights the villain, and then things get weird because the villain causes the first blackout. Which, okay, that's what the villain can do. And I'm like, oh, my first thought, he's going to be forced to be the villain. And by this villain, and that will cause everything.
Right.
That's what's so cool about this episode and this season so far is it's like, I don't know what the hell they did, but they brought in writers who were like, yeah, we know how to write a Flash episode that you think you know where it's going, and it's like clear that we're showing our hand, but then by the end of it, you're like, huh? I don't know where this is going.
Let's go ahead and jump to the big mysteries.
Yes, because I want to connect those two thoughts, and I didn't want to spoil it right away. So
let's just go right to the ending of this episode. But I do want to say one thing. When Chester was telling us his backstory, I was sitting there like, don't tell me he killed the friend. Don't tell me he killed the friend. Because he was like, he was like, he's getting to burn the house down. Yes, I was like, oh my God. Is that why Chester's in the past? He murdered his friend with a ray gun that he learned from Martian.
I was thinking the same thing. Burn the house down. I was like, oh, okay. Well, I'm glad he's not a murderer.
That's what I was thinking. And he's gonna follow it up with, I was a juvie till I was 18. Like, what?
Yeah.
Be one hell of a twist, that's for sure.
Speaking of one hell of a twist, though, Joe's dead. Which, okay.
Yes.
I want to say I wasn't here last week, and I swear I wish I was here last week because I have in my notes, I'm pretty sure, for last week's episode, I was like, did Joe die at the end of the last season? Because there were moments where a big moment last season, which is a breadcrumb that they left for the reveal in this episode, is when somebody says something, everyone's in the room, Cecile is there, and somebody makes a joke about I wish they were dead or something, and then I think Caitlin makes that joke and she turns to Cecile and says, sorry, Cecile, and then they move on, and I was like, wait, why?
Yeah.
Why? And I was like, did Joe die? And I forgot. And because he's not around. And
this whole episode, I thought he was out of the first episode just because he's just not on the cast this episode. Whatever.
Right.
He's been moving slowly a bit, kind of like Cisco. Cisco was in every episode when he was kind of getting done with the show. But the reveal that he's dead? Did they just kill Joe off screen?
I don't think so. But the fact that the writers were able to they gaslit their audience. They made me think that I forgot that they killed Joe West at the end of last season, and they didn't. They didn't kill him. He was alive. They just decided to off screen.
When that happened, I immediately messaged Benny did Joe die? When did Joe die?
What I loved about that, though, is I thought that was going to be the cliffhanger because I watched this on the CW app with ads. So that happened, happened, and I'm like, oh, that was the end. We're going to find out more next week. But then they kept going.
20 minutes more.
I'm like, holy crap, we're just going more into
packed.
this. Like, I thought that was it. We beat the villain. Barry showed us this cool new power where he like exploded, which was awesome to see him do that and not have somebody be like, Barry,
went
here's how you
Super
do
Saiyan.
everything. Yeah. Barry figuring out a new way to use his powers is great. And then we get to that and Joe's dead. And I'm like, what? Because we're at like the conclusion. Yeah, let's go do the cookout. And I'm like, oh, we're going to keep mentioning Joe. But he's not going to show up. No, he's not showing up because he's dead. He's dead.
Right. Which is like perfect time for that, because I feel like if they had gone another episode, because by the time they revealed it, like I think like a minute before that I was like, oh, I know what they're doing. This is awesome. But if they had kept it going, which they normally do with this show, of like nobody knows and they're leaving breadcrumbs and stuff, and eventually Barry finds out, but like they do it episode 2, like the second that like everyone like figures it out, like before Barry does. And that's like, it's so perfect. It was so well done.
Yeah. I loved that. I do want to comment real quick, and we'll go back to you, Dan. I just want to comment. Are we just not going to put Caitlin in the Frost outfit, but we're going to constantly talk about Frost?
You're right.
She's in this episode for like 30 seconds.
No, was she? Because they mentioned her a bunch.
She asks, isn't she the one that tells Chester to make the weapon
Yes.
to stop the Flash? Yeah.
Okay. Well, no, I know she is, but I thought it was just a mention. I didn't realize she showed up. I must have looked away at that moment. Because I'm like, they're just
Yeah.
going to keep saying Frost is here. Frost is here. It's like
Right.
Cisco. Cisco called, told me what to do.
Yeah. Told me to make some sort of cold gun? I don't know. He said it worked once, so.
Also, speaking of people calling into the show, I just, for the only person who's finished Supergirl and knows the status quo of that, Alex calling in is interesting and saying that, I just find it funny that she mentions that John and Kara are off-world, where in Supergirl, they're never off-world, but now that the show is over, that's their excuse, because they can't get those actors to come back, but they can get Alex's
right.
actor to come back.
Right.
I did see Alex is back, and I'm like, oh, they're doing what Arrow did. They're going to take one actor, and they're going to pop up across the board.
Yep. Which, like, the ending of Supergirl does have interesting ramifications for, like, the CW verse, because the big thing that would like affect the rest of the shows is that the DEO is back. They're reforming the DEO, and everybody knows that Kara is Supergirl now. So
Okay.
I don't know. Supergirl might show up in this. We got Black Lightning at the end of this episode, so who knows?
So, Dan, you had a thought that I interrupted you with.
Yes.
What was yours?
So I have a theory, right? If they are going into the direction of this is the Flash's version of Injustice, I'm wondering whether or not Joe's actually dead, and if this is the Scarecrow fear toxin moment, where instead of Superman going crazy thinking Lois is Doomsday and then killing her, I'm wondering if this is Zotar, whatever her name is, messing with Barry, making him think all of this is happening to mess with him. And then it turns out like none of this has happened yet, but he has destroyed everything thinking that it's going to happen. And then we're going to get that moment of snapped out of it in space and see what he actually did instead of defeat Doomsday.
Well, Dylan, my theory right now is since the last line is I've called you in for an injustice,
Right.
is that CW wanted to do Flash Injustice, but WB was like, you can't use Injustice. We have things going on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot that Benny mentioning that wasn't in this, but in a short that I edited right before this. That was my
gotcha.
bad, just skipping that.
all blends together.
But,
Yeah. So my theory is that they wanted to do Injustice, Evil Barry, and that this is how they're going to go with that.
It's cool that I'm hoping that there's something like wrong with the fabric of the universe, because again, remember, the Flash team, according to the producers or whatever, still don't know that the multiverse is alive. They haven't addressed that
Right.
yet. So I think
Who does?
something
What
being
team does?
wrong. They don't. Nobody
Who?
knows. It just
Okay.
exists.
what if, on that note, I'm just going to run with that theory. What if
go.
when he does the vibration to create the lightning generation, what if that's not actually him creating lightning, but him like swapping universes through the Speed Force?
Oh man.
And it
I
turns
think-
out he's just in a completely different universe this whole
The
time.
fun,
would
fact
agree.
is, the fun fact is we get to have theories again.
Yes.
We're finally
Yeah.
having theories again about Flash.
And we can
I
be
would agree
excited about
if
them.
if they didn't have that moment with Cecile in the last episode where they hinted towards Joe being dead, because that was before all of that.
See, when they made that reference, by the way, I thought it was related to. I couldn't remember all the details, but if you remember when Cecile was kind of locked in her own mind and it was because she was at the mental hospital and all of that, I thought that maybe like I had forgotten something about that. And that's why she made the reference of, oh, I forgot you accidentally did this, or you just went through all of this in that. I thought it was related to that. However, if it is related to Joe, then yeah, my theory is completely null and void.
Because they did that many times
right.
in this episode that I think that's they were laying the groundwork for it, and they just breezed past it, which was great.
I remember watching this because I was just watching this in the gym, my gym, while I was doing this, and I was watching the episode and I had it going, and like they started revealing. I just remember being like, oh wait, are we gonna say Joe's dead? Like when it finally clicked and they're looking at the photo and everything, and Barry's just like freaking out. I'm freaking out watching the episode. Like, no, whoa, how did I miss that? Like you said, Dan. They're gaslighting their audience.
Yeah,
like,
they really are.
For sure.
How
did
dare
I
they?
forget that? Am I gonna hit up Dan and be like, when did Joe die? And Dan's gonna be like, Ben, 3 episodes ago. What are you talking about? Like, Dan's gaslighting me? Oh my god!
Like Joe hasn't existed for 3 seasons. Yeah. What is going on with you?
Oh, that would have been great if somehow we had planned this. You two are also gaslighting me in the show. And I'm here on the wiki like, when did Joe die? When did Joe die?
I will say, I think it's very, very cool. And it's such like, I don't even know if it's earned, but I'll give it to the show. The fact that like, off screen, the Justice League decided to come up with a code word for when one of them like goes crazy. Like that, and you get it. Like he shows up, Black Lightning's there, and Barry's like Injustice, and Black Lightning's like, oh shit, like that. You get it. Like you don't need the scene where they set that up, but like it's that's so comic booky, and it's so like sure it's Black Lightning, and like I haven't watched that show in a while, and it's even in the comics, like who cares about Black Lightning? But it's still like a cool moment to have.
The only people.
Yeah, exactly. That's a really fun moment, and I'm glad that they're playing with that stuff now.
Can we just have a quick moment about that leaks scene where they're just like, Martian Manhunter not here, Supergirl not here, Batwoman don't even ask, like they just scroll it past everyone, and I'm just like, oh yeah, oh Black Lightning, he showed up, cool. Like,
I really hope that Batwoman actress shows up and they're like, you look different. Did you change your hair? No, okay, so I got a quick question that I'm now, with all the gaslighting, I'm wondering whether or not I forgot this happening, or
right.
Didn't Cecile and Joe have a baby together, and has that baby not shown up?
They talk about the baby in this episode.
What happened to the baby?
One of the breadcrumbs that they leave before the reveal is that Cecile has to go home to take care of the baby. I don't remember the name. But of the baby, because she's been having a hard time lately. And that's another thing, like, why? Why is she having a hard time with the baby specifically?
Right.
Where's Joe?
Right.
He's dead.
Okay. Interesting. I must have missed that bit, but my first thought was like, wait a second.
Who's the baby?
Did something happen to both of them? Like,
Despero's the baby.
Oh, God.
Despero. Oh, no. I'm not a fan of Despero as a character right now, because he really is just showing up to poke the bear. Just like,
I like, he's this show can't forget all of its melodrama.
No, yeah.
Like,
right.
we need something to anchor it to the previous, like, 5 seasons. So, yeah, we get Despero. I'm fine with him. I think he's, he's edgy, but, like, this whole show, they're not going to do, like, a Legends of Tomorrow, like, pivot, like I'm sure Dan and I would love. But this is close enough. This is, at least it's good now. Okay. I will say, this is the tweet that I made, is that this episode is better than the entirety of season 7. I stand by that. This episode is great.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say in the melodrama with Despero, I actually really like that he is the source of it right now, and it's not like some of the previous seasons where you go,
It's not Barry.
wait, this random person on the team had a full personality shift between this and that, and like
True.
was fine with it the first time happening, but the second time, like, I actually really like that all the characters are staying true to who they are. And this is the source of it. And it does make sense that he would be the source of it. It's annoying because he is just poking the berry. I'm taking that joke from you because I really liked it.
Fair enough.
Like, I think he's... I think he's the reason it happens. I think this is a classic. I showed up back in time to prevent this from happening, but it turns out that is the reason why it actually happened.
I think we're gonna have a big villain. There's gonna be a big villain behind this, is what I think, and they're saving the reveal.
I
two
hope that it is
Desperos.
something that two Desperos. I hope that it's something larger that is like, you know, because if it was the thing that you said earlier about Zotar or whatever, like that's like a one note character that, you know, who cares about that character? Like I don't want it to just be like, oh, this is like Barry goes crazy and ruins the planet. That's what happens. Like I want it to be like something's detrimentally wrong. Like yes, Barry was going crazy and that directly affected Despero, but like also Batman like shot up a city and Supergirl came back to Earth and like burnt like some like crazy shit's happening everywhere and Despero was just here for specifically the Flash. Like something's wrong. And I think injustice, like that word, like, you know, would make that make more sense. And also the fact that this is they keep talking about like leading up to this that this is a crossover event and it's like 6 or 7 episodes long or something.
5.
Like 5 episodes long.
We have 5
so,
of
like,
this, and then there's going to be 13 of the regular season. They've confirmed 18 total for the whole season.
Same writers, right? Because I need these guys to stay on.
Yeah, totally.
As long as they stop saying level up every episode. I
don't know what's going on
level
with
up
that.
all the time. I think they're big
say level up.
gamers, these
Okay.
writers.
So there is one
actually-
thing we haven't mentioned yet. I want to ask you two because you're Legends fans.
Okay.
The death of Gideon. What did you think?
That was kind of heartbreaking a
different
little.
Gideon.
Yeah,
It is
For
a
me.
different Gideon, but it was
regardless,
still
they've been on the
like,
show since the beginning.
Also, Dan, and you're probably more caught up on Legends than I am. I've
actually
only
am not.
watched.
I'll be
Okay.
honest, I haven't seen the season yet. I've been struggling. I need to sit down and watch all
I've
of it.
only watched
so-
the first episode. Do you
Okay.
Do you mind if I spoil one
Spoil
tiny
it.
thing
Go
from
for
the
it.
first episode? Okay,
Do
so
it.
at the end of the first episode of this season of Legends, Gideon shows up as like a human. So
That happened last
they've
season.
done it before, yeah.
Yeah.
But like she's like here, and like the implication is that like she's a character now.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So
That's how they save her from being
it's a
killed
fun
by
moment.
Barry.
So like, there's there's a lot of Gideon, and that Gideon always every time that Gideon like the Flash Gideon shows up, I'm like, huh, this is I always forget because it's such like a different
Right.
character. But
Is Legends a part of this crossover?
I
we know?
I
probably
mean, we had
not.
Adam already. We had
'Cause-
Adam already. He counted.
I wouldn't really consider that. Because if they do show up, a good reason for them showing up is the timeline catching up and something happening to Gideon.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And that would be the reason that they go back or go to
Yeah.
that time period. But hey, I mean, I
mean,
haven't seen Legends. so
I
don't
doubt
know.
that they plan this far in advance because the CW shows have been fractured for a while ever since Crisis.
No
but
kidding.
At the end of Legends last season, we saw a Wave Rider blow up a Wave Rider, which that's like Heroes Gone Bad and Justice E type beat. So like
Yep.
maybe that'd be cool.
Maybe that's the whole thing. Are any of the other CW shows even back yet? Like Batwoman's not back yet, is she?
Not really. They're not crossing
I don't
Batwoman
think
over.
anyone cares.
Well, it looks like they're trying to make Batwoman its own thing now with the Poison
Smart.
Ivy.
Yeah.
It's a new
that's
version
like
of the Joker.
I think this is finally the season where they were like, they finally realized, the Flash is like the only show we have in this universe anymore. Like
Right.
Legends has been doing its own thing for like half of its lifespan, and Arrow's done, Batwoman flopped, Black Lightning's in its own like weird pocket thing. Like you just have the Flash now. Supergirl's over. Like
Yeah.
All you got is this show.
Superman, Lois and Clark. That one, that's still not back, and I don't think they've referenced it's the same
That's
universe
hardly
at all.
connected, except for Green Lantern Man showing up.
Oh my God. Apparently Batwoman's been back for 7 episodes.
I think that right there speaks volumes to how people care about Batwoman, because it is literally our jobs, and it has been 7 episodes and we haven't.
Apparently it
had
came back with fandom, went up to episode 7, and it acted as a mid-season finale where they revealed Poison Ivy and a new Joker who are going to be showing up as the trailer, and it's just on hiatus right now.
Actually,
They're really trying, huh?
I think I remember that briefly. Like, I might have been looking through Absolute Comics topics and saw that and just thought no one cares.
Yep.
Yeah, interesting.
That's rough. Yeah, I mean that's
Like,
to be
I
fair.
guess
Like
this
I
Joker
also
is going to be it's not officially the Joker. It's kind of like what they did with Gotham, where it's
Another
another
Jerome.
character. Yeah, where they
Yeah.
act like the Joker. It's Marquis
Right.
Jet is acting. I don't even know who that is.
Never heard of him.
Yeah.
to be fair, I didn't know that Legends was back for like 7 episodes. Like there's a lot of
Yeah,
episodes
that's
of Legends
same.
out, but like we don't. Also, if anyone's curious, a couple of people asked. We're not covering it because it doesn't do well on the channel. Y'all don't watch it, so.
Yeah, and we have a lot of other topics to talk about. It's not like
Yeah, we've got
we're
plenty
in
to
need
talk
of
about
topic.
over here.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right. Well, I wanted to get your opinions on Gideon. I thought you'd be more upset. I was a little sad I mean, that's one of the original cast members that has been officially killed.
I
know
always,
it's just a computer, but
Floating head.
See, and that's just it. I do always have that piece of sadness when those AI that has like grown throughout the show, when they do get deleted, because you do just look at it and go, they had a lot of growth and like truly started gaining more personality and sentience, and like it. Then they go back and they're like, no, you're a computer that can be deleted. Like it, it's kind of depressing, because it's also like people are very willing to delete AIs, even though they're the same people that are like, I'm not going to kill anyone, even the bad guys. And it's like, oh, just there's that little bit that I'm like, oh, poor
if
Gideon.
they kill
You have
Gideon
no heart,
in
Dylan.
Legends after all of I don't know. You kill a character that we haven't seen in like forever and doesn't like Gideon in Legends is a character.
Right.
Gideon in the Flash is a
That's
plot
fair.
device. And like to the point
I'll
where
give you that.
like I don't remember who, but somebody fell in love with Gideon at one point in the show.
It was me. No, I'm just kidding.
it was Dan.
Because the last time, because I think the big thing about, again, we're talking about Legends here, but we got it somewhere.
We got it somewhere.
She's like physically there, but the last time we saw her as like a human was like in a Mindscape thing where everyone was high on like ship juice or something, and they saw Gideon.
What am I missing over there?
Watch Legends.
Oh yeah, I think I remember that episode.
That was when we saw and there was also the weird like Bizarro World episode where it was the Charlie's Angels things where Gideon, Sarah, and Ava were like
The
badass
sitcom
spies.
episode.
Yeah.
It sounds like
remember
me
that.
trying to describe a Doom Patrol episode of one of these reviews. They all turn into zombies and they walk over here, but they're still sentient zombies. They just don't know how to.
Yeah.
If the point is, if they killed Gideon in Legends, I would be sad because that's a
Right.
character.
I think maybe that connection across the board is also influential to my opinion of it, because
Sure.
they
Very
are
fair.
very similar, and it's easy to kind of mix them up a little bit. But
I'm just an unempathetic monster.
I learned that years ago when I hired you.
it's okay. I am overly empathetic, so we equal out to a normally
Yeah, we
empathetic
balance
person.
each other out. Of course.
And that weird ending is absolutely Marvel and DC. If you enjoy these kind of rambling back and forth discussions about your favorite shows, movies, and everything involving in the world of comic books and movies, comic book movies and TV shows and games, then join us right here at the Absolutely Marvel and DC channel, where you can like, subscribe, and join the Absolute Armada today.